Okay, welcome to level 2, chapter 18, part 1. This is Sri Sri Nitai Gaurangarai from ISKCON Todu. Yashodhappriya Mataji's place, from
Yeah,
her place, Subrang Jaya Pinay. They also have Radha Krishna Kanaya. Okay.
yeah.
Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vikna Vinashana Srimati Namine. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanasalakaya Chaksurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Jai. Okay, first slide reading as usual. Who would like to go? Understanding of Gita. Kala Mataji.
Hare Mataji.
Okay.
Okay. The forgetful living entities or conditioned souls have forgotten their relationship with the Supreme Lord, and they are engrossed in thinking of material activities just to transfer their thinking power to the spiritual sky. Krishna Dvaipayana Vyasa has given a great number of Vedic literatures. First, he divided the Vedas into 4. Then he explained them in the Puranas, and for less capable people, he wrote the Mahabharata. In the Mahabharata, there is given the Bhagavad Gita. Then all Vedic literature is summarized in the Vedanta Sutra, and for future guidance, he gave a natural commendations on the Vedanta Sutra called Srimad Bhagavatam. We must always engage our minds in reading the Vedic literatures, just as materialistics engage their minds in reading newspapers, magazines, and so many materialistic literatures. We must transfer our reading to these literatures, which are given to us by Vyasadeva. In that way, it will be possible for us to remember the Supreme Lord at the time of death. That is the only way suggested by the Lord, and he guarantees the results. There is no doubt.
Thank you. Yes, thank you, Mataji. So there are a few points here. So listen attentively. Yeah. So what happened to the living entities? What have happened to their the relationship between them and the Supreme Lord? What happened to it?
They forgetful.
Correct. They have forgotten their relationship. Why they have forgotten?
Because conditioned soul.
Okay. So what happened? Where was their focus?
Their focus in material
activities.
Material activities. Okay. So remember this. Okay. All right. So to make them remember the actual relationship with the Lord and that where they should actually go. All right. So what happened? Krishna in his literary incarnation as Vyasadev has compiled the Vedas. All right. The 4 Vedas. Then he realized, as the time progresses, humans are not so intelligent as the original time. So he has given the information in story form. So which are the Puranas. Okay, and for those who are not able to take the Puranas, then he gave Mahabharata. That means he was making the process simpler. From the very sophisticated Vedas, it became Puranas. Then he brought in Mahabharata. Okay, so in Mahabharata, of course, it is a history. So in between the Mahabharata, Bhagavad Gita has been inserted. All right, so move back to the Vedas. So the conclusion of the Vedas is called Vedanta Sutra. So even so, people cannot understand. All right, even Vyasadeva was not satisfied. In Bhagavatam, Canto 1, you will see one of the chapter, Vyasadeva will be feeling despondent because he will be thinking, I wrote so many things, so many scriptures. I wrote the Vedas, I wrote this, I wrote that. But why I'm not feeling so happy? Why I'm not feeling satisfied? So he will be complaining to his guru. Who is Vyasadeva's guru? Who is Vyasadeva's guru? Anybody there? Hare Krishna. Krishna first gave the mantra to Lord Brahma. Okay, that was first disciple of Krishna. Then Brahma gave the knowledge to somebody. And that somebody gave the knowledge to Vyasadeva. So therefore, he is the guru. Who is that person? He is in orange. He carries an instrument in his hand.
Narayana Mataji.
No.
Muni.
I think, yeah, I think you're trying to say Narada Muni, it became Narayana because he called it Narayana. Yeah, it's Narada Muni. So always remember Krishna, Lord Brahma. Lord Brahma's son is Narada Muni. Narada Muni's disciple is Vyasadeva. Vyasadeva Guru is Narada Muni. Okay, so always remember we are coming from that Sampradaya, Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. So it's Brahma at the top and his disciple and his son Narada Muni's disciple is Vyasadeva. So Vyasadeva was complaining because Narada Muni will say, why you're feeling so sad? You have done so many things, so many scriptures, why are you still sad? Yeah, I wrote so many scriptures, but still something is lacking, something is not very satisfying for me. Then Narada Muni say, yes, you have given so much of information in all these books, but you have not given the ultimate substance to relish the quality of God. You have not described his qualities. You have not described his activities. So you should write Bhagavatam. Then Vyasadeva writes, narrates Bhagavatam and Lord Ganesh has to write. Okay. All right. So that's how we got Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay. So that has perfected Vyasadeva's mission. Okay. So the third part of this introduction is that just like how we read a lot of other scriptures, okay, we also need to allocate time to read these scriptures. Okay, that is the way that we can always remember Krishna. Of course, we can always, say, I just want to chant Mataji, I don't want to do anything else. Just want to chant and go back to Krishna. Yes, you can do that. But you also need to do it meaningfully. So to do it meaningfully, then you have to have some knowledge about Krishna's qualities, Krishna's pastimes, Krishna's reciprocations. So that will add beauty and meaning to the mantra that we chant. Okay. All right. Otherwise, there will come a point where somebody asks, why are you chanting? I don't know. This is what Guru Maharaj exactly say. Then the person might say, I don't know. I was just told to chant and everything will fall in place. So I'm just doing. No. Yeah, it will fall in place, but you also will be able to explain why are you doing this. Okay. We need to know why we are doing this. So it's very important to know this. That's why we need to read. Okay. Read or hear. Okay. All right, so with that, we are entering chapter 18, part 1. Okay, so basically from chapter 2 up to 17, Krishna already finished talking about giving the knowledge, okay, the science of this yoga. So chapter 18 is mostly like he's reiterating certain things, okay, and he's also summarizing the whole Bhagavad Gita. Okay, so it's basically an overview. All right, Krishna will be concluding that Bhakti Yoga is the ultimate goal of life. Okay, so please try to remember this part, yeah, this overview here, because you want to know what is in chapter 18. All right, Bhakti Yoga is the ultimate goal of life. All right. So how you go to Bhakti Yoga? It starts with renouncing the fruits of work, not the work itself. Remember, Arjuna wanted to give up fighting because he didn't want to get reactions. But Krishna said, the trick is not in giving up the work, but the consciousness that is attached to that work. Okay, you're not doing it for yourself. You are doing it as an offering to me. Therefore, you will not get reactions. This is what Krishna is saying. All right. Renouncing the fruits of the work, not the work itself. All right. So how do you do it? By performing it dutifully. All right. So that way you will perform the work with a detached consciousness. That will be true in renunciation, and that will relieve you from any reactions. So this is the summum bonum of the entire Bhagavad Gita. All right. And please remember this. Okay. All right. So in the entire chapter 84 Gita again, level 2, we will cover this. Krishna will continue talking about 3 modes. Remember what are the 3 modes that we covered last week? Anybody remember?
Goodness, passion, and ignorance.
Correct. What are the areas that we applied these 3 modes?
The area.
Faith,
Correct. Faith,
worship,
worship,
foods,
food,
sacrifice,
yes, sacrifice,
austerities,
austerities,
and charity.
charity. Very, very good. Thank you so much, Mataji.
Thank you.
All right. So here in chapter 18, Krishna will elaborate on more elements, categorizing them in 3 modes. Okay, so we will have knowledge and happiness in today's class. Okay, after that, I think next part we will go into Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan, and then glories of Bhagavad Gita, and ultimately the conclusion of Gita. Okay, so today we will be here. All right. Okay, and now finally, what are we supposed to learn, understand from here? That unconditional loving surrender unto Lord Krishna frees one from all sins, complete enlightenment, and return to supreme abode. Inilah goal kita. This is our vision, mission, objective. Okay, remember that whatever we do, we need to have vision, mission, objective. So this is, all right, this is the part that we need to remember. Okay. So if you split this chapter into 2 parts, you will see what we're going to cover is much more than what we covered in level 1. In level 1, we only covered like a couple of verses in this part. But for level 2, we are expanding it. Okay, we're going to explain more on that. All right. So remember how the Bhagavad Gita started? What was in chapter 1? Come, Adaji, please speak. What was in chapter 1? How the Bhagavad Gita started?
Fighting in the war at Kurukshetra.
Okay, they are going to fight. All right, so everybody assembled at the Kurukshetra. So that was the physical setting. All right, so after that, what happened? What happened to Arjuna?
Arjuna refused to fight.
Yes, okay, so there were symptoms that he was
Hello?
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna, we can hear you.
Yeah, Krishna was so
Krishna was?
own.
Can't hear you, Mataji. I think your line is breaking. Is anybody else can hear Mataji? Try again, Mataji. Maybe, is it my line?
Mataji, can you hear me now?
Yes, now better.
Okay, Krishna was so doubtful to continue, to start with their own siblings and all the relatives,
Arjuna,
as well as
right?
the Arjuna.
Okay, it's okay.
Yeah. So and that time, so Krishna, Arjuna was asking Krishna, how am I going to perform the duty and so on, and that's where this Bhagavad Gita lesson started.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Mataji. So next question, what was the first topic that Krishna started speaking on? After after Arjuna exhibited some symptoms, after Arjuna gave the 5 reasons, right? Sasdi, remember? Okay, so Krishna started speaking. So what did Krishna started speaking about first?
We are not this body, we are the soul.
Very good. The analysis between body and soul. Okay, very good. That is Sankhya Yoga. Okay, knowledge. After that, Krishna entered chapter 3. He was talking about what? What was he talking about?
Chapter 3, yeah.
Yeah. After talking about the difference between soul and body, then Krishna started talking about,
Karma yoga.
yeah, Krishna started talking about work. Okay, under what kind of consciousness you could do your work, okay, whether it's for benefit or without benefit. So Krishna gave different understanding on karma yoga. So you can see here in chapter 18.2 onwards, Krishna is talking about karma. Okay, can you see he's summarizing? Krishna is so kind, he's such a great teacher. Okay, after karma yoga, we enter chapter 4. What is the chapter 4? What is the essence of chapter 4? What did we learn in chapter 4? It's like a we are summarizing, the whole Bhagavad Gita now.
Jnana Yoga.
Transcendental knowledge.
Okay, can I have the title in English?
Transcendental knowledge.
Okay, transcendental knowledge. Krishna started talking about knowledge, how the knowledge came, where the knowledge came from, how old is the knowledge. So he gave a brief explanation on that. And then we entered all the Bhakti Yoga chapters until chapter 12. After chapter 12, what did we do? Which Krishna already touched earlier, but he expanded further from chapter 13 up till now. We are still doing that. What yoga is that?
Nature, enjoyer, and consciousness.
Okay, so what do they come under? What yoga is that?
Jhana.
3 modes, sir.
3 modes are details. So what is that big element, a big segment is that?
Jhana yoga, is it?
Yeah, Jnana yoga. Okay. All right. So we had karma yoga, and then Krishna touched on the Jnana yoga a little bit. Chapter 6, we learned another kind of yoga. What was that? That you have to go into a secluded place, sit with your body erected.
Did
What
Bhakti
yoga?
Yoga?
No, Bhakti yoga is devotional. We did that from chapter 6 to 12, 7 to 12.
Dhyana yoga.
Dhyana yoga. Krishna taught us how to meditate. All right. Remember the Patanjali yoga, Ashtanga yoga. So meditation is one of it. So that one, Krishna also taught us A, B, C, D. This is how you must do. This is how you must sit. What kind of material you need to get. All right. So karma yoga. Okay. A little bit of jnana yoga. And then karma yoga, dhyana yoga, and then we enter jnana yoga. Okay. All right. So that's how Krishna is summarizing the chapter 18. Okay, we are still continuing on the modes, all right? So, okay, so please tell me what is the title of the chapter 18?
Chapter. Oh, these are.
The perfection of renunciation.
Yeah, it's just right there on the slide, okay, at the bottom. The perfection of renunciation, because Arjuna started off like that. I want to go away. I don't want to fight. All right. Then Krishna put in a lot of explanation. Don't renounce. Even if you renounce, it's not going to last. It's called premature renunciation. And then Krishna say, the actual renunciation is not in renunciating the work, but renunciating the fruit of the work. So Arjuna asking question again. So let's hear from Jayanti Mataji, English. Welcome Divyashni Mataji.
Sorry, Mataji. Can you hear me now?
Yes, now can.
Okay. Arjuna say, "O mighty armed one, I wish to understand the purpose of renunciation and of the renounced order of life.
Yes,
Sanyasha,
sir.
co-killer of the KC demon, master of the senses."
Okay. Thank you, Mataji. After so long, yeah, Mataji. Okay, so can you see what are the names that Arjuna is using to address Krishna? Who can tell me? There are three names that Arjuna used here to address Krishna, and they have significances. Who can pick out that names for me? Maybe you can pick out from the English translation.
Sanyasasya.
Sannyasa is a renounced order of life. So find out which word the Arjuna is using to glorify Krishna, to call Krishna.
Dhyaga,
Tyagasya.
No, Tyaga is the matter, the subject matter they were talking about. I'm
Kesi
asking-
Nisudana.
Correct. Kesini Sudana is one.
Kesi,
What else?
Udana, what is that?
Mighty arm one.
Mighty armed one. Yes. One more.
Master of senses.
Very good. Master of senses. Okay. So I go from the beginning. This Mahabaho. Mahabaho is oh mighty armed one. Okay. So that means Arjuna is addressing Krishna as the strongest personality. Next is Rishikesha. Rishikesha means master of
Senses.
master of the senses. Means we are not only not able to master our senses, okay, but Krishna is the master of all senses, okay, because we are often fall under the dictation of our senses, okay. The senses become our master. Hardly we master the senses, but Krishna is the master of senses. So Arjuna is asking Krishna to instruct him, okay. That's one. The third one is Keshi Nisudana, killer of the Keshi demon. Demon means generally, doubts are generally compared to demons. Demon of doubts, like that. So Arjuna is requesting Krishna, Arjuna here is requesting Krishna to kill his doubts. So there are significances based on how Arjuna addressed Krishna. Likewise, you will see many places that Krishna also will address Arjuna. Gudakesha. Gudakesha means one who has conquered sleep. All right. And then he will call him in so many ways, the son of Kunti, son of Prita, Partha, like that. So all this will signify Arjuna's glory in some way. Okay, sometimes Krishna wants to remind Arjuna, dear so and so. Why? Because this already explains about the quality that you have. So why are you not living up to that quality? So like that, it's like very indirect, like that Krishna calls Arjuna. Okay, so right, so back to this question, Arjuna is asking, what is the difference between doing the renunciation, all right, and renounced order of life? Sannyasa here, and then we have Tyagasya here. So sannyasa versus Tyagasya. So Arjuna is having doubts, and he's asking Krishna to kill the doubts. Okay, clarify. All right, so Rishikesha, Nishkeshi, Nisudana, Mahabahu, these three words. Okay. So as usual, as a good teacher, Krishna is answering the question. So can we have somebody to read? Jayanti Mataji. Jayanti Mataji, unmute.
Mataji, I'm driving actually. I'm not sure either you guys can hear me. Okay, never mind. I will read. The Supreme Personality of Godhead say, the giving up of activities that are based on material desire is what great learned men call the renounced order in life, a sannyasa. And giving up the result of all activities is what the wise call renunciation, tyaga.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. Safe drive. Don't read while you're driving. Okay, thank you, Mataji. Okay, so the difference here is given. Sannyasa, Tyaga. Sannyasa means giving up activity. That means you don't do work. That is sannyasa. You abstain from doing work. Tyaga means you are doing work, but the result you are sacrificing. Here, one person sacrificing the work, not doing the work. Tyaga means doing the work, but sacrificing the results. Can I understand? Is it difficult? It's pretty straightforward. Easy, right? Tyaga is different. Sannyasa is different. Okay. So this is the differences that Krishna is defining here. Giving up of activities, giving up the results. Two different things. Okay. Earlier, Arjuna wanted to give up the activities, but Krishna said, no, you perform the activity, but you give up the results. Okay. So we have done this, that we have went through this phrase, this understanding many times. So it is really high time for us to apply in our life. Are we doing that? Okay, so I'm also telling from my point of view, I'm also doing that. I'm trying, at least I'm trying, and I do see some difference in there. So I encourage that everybody also try to do that. It's not that, oh, Arjuna is such a great warrior, so it's easy for him to do. Oh, the Guru Maharajas, all such great soul, they can do, and we are just normal, ordinary human being. We can't do. Actually, we can. All right, this manual is for everybody, no matter what stage we are in, what kind of duties that we are doing, what kind of responsibilities that we have. You can do this. Okay, you will find some peace in that. All right, and that is what is the wisdom of Bhagavad Gita about. Okay, all right. However, okay, there are activities that you're supposed to do. Krishna says you cannot entirely give up activities because in the scriptures there are prescribed duties that humans should do, such as Guna Mataji, could you read for us, please? Are you able to? Sharmila Mataji, welcome.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Okay, Mataji, can you read for us?
Yes, I can. Okay. So, acts of sacrifice, charity, and penance are not to be given up. They must be performed. Indeed, sacrifice, charity, and penance purify even the great souls.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. So Krishna is establishing here that one cannot give up activities entirely because you have to perform sacrifice, charity, and penances. So if you don't do, that means who's going to do that? All right. And in fact, these activities purify even the great souls. It's not only going to purify normal, ordinary human being like us, but it also purify the great souls. That is why in the past, many famous kings, they do yagya, they give out charity to their people. Like what kind of charity those kings used to do? They used to give out cows, right? They used to give out cows, grains, lands. What else? They perform yagyas. Okay, and when they do the yagya, they give out clothes and food for the people in their country. So like these people were doing, even King Janaka was doing. He doesn't need to do all this. He's already a great devotee. Who is King Janaka? Father of Janaka. His daughter is Janaki. Who is Janaki? Who is Janaki Raman? Mataji's. Janaka, Janaki, Janaki Raman. What is the connection? Janaki Raman is the husband of Janaki. So Raman means Lord Rama. Who is Lord Rama's wife?
Sita.
Yes, Mother Sita. Mother Sita is Janaki. Janaki's father is Janaka. Okay? Sita's father, yes. So King Janaka was such a famous king, and he doesn't actually have to do this because he's already a great devotee, father of the goddess of fortune. All right, so yet to show the example to the people, he performed many activities like this. All right, so this activity has to go on. All these activities should be performed as a matter of duty and without any expectation of result. All right, so one, you have to perform these activities. These activities purify us. However, we cannot have expectation on the result of these activities. Okay. So 18.5, okay, earlier we did 18.4, 18.5. Oh, I think this is 18.6. Sorry, this is 18.6. Okay, they should be performed as a matter of duty, O son of Pritha. That is my final opinion. So Krishna is saying here, that is my final opinion. So in the past, throughout the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna, many places, he already said, this is my opinion, this is my opinion. He would say that, all right? And why he always says that is because you may have so many people's opinion in your hand, and then you have Krishna's opinion. So where do we give the consideration more? All right, to the people with the 4 defects, or the one who is infallible. Infallible means a person who does not fall because he does not make any mistakes. We are fallible. We have tendency to fall because we have flaws, we have shortcomings, we have defects. Okay, generally 4 defects. This one we will do in level 3. Okay, but Krishna is not that. So you have opinions of so many people on the one side and opinion of Krishna on the other side. So where do we fall back to? Whose opinion? However, having said all those opinions, Krishna is coming here and saying that is my final opinion. Okay, so here Krishna is concluding all his opinion here, that it is superior to other opinion that Krishna has already offered. Okay, he says activities actually do not produce reactions. The activity that you do does not produce reactions. The mentality of performing the activities produce the reactions. What kind of mentality? Let's hear some from you all. What kind of mentality that produce reactions?
Envy. Envy.
Okay, what else? We are performing something with enviousness. Okay, yes, very good. You get bad reactions for that. What else?
Expectation.
Yeah, expectation. Very good. What else? What else? Come on, put in all the knowledge that you have gained throughout your level 1 and level 2. You might not go wrong. You think you will get wrong terms, but you will not go far.
Desire.
Okay, what kind of desire? The desire that the fruit is mine. Okay, that is very important point. What else? The fruits for me to enjoy. What else? When you perform an activity, what do we think? Okay, let's say you are doing a work, right? You're doing a work in your office or somewhere. When you do the work, you achieved great success. What naturally you will think?
Proud.
Satisfied.
Proud. Okay, why do you feel proud? What is that mentality that we have?
Achieving some fruity.
Okay. Why do you feel that? Because
Ego. Our false ego.
Happiness.
yes, can you elaborate on that, Mataji? False ego. What is that false ego? When you achieve something, when you accomplish something, what do we feel?
Thinking our action belongs to us, ourselves.
Correct. Yeah, that's the point. Thinking that I am the doer. This has happened because of me only, right? So that is false ego. That is the mentality that we have when we do some activities, and that gives reaction. The activity itself do not give reactions. Okay, so this is why Krishna is telling Arjuna, fight dutifully in the mood of renunciation, detached from the results. Okay, so now we have spoken a lot on renunciation, right? do you believe that renunciation is also can be categorized in 3 modes? Okay, so we are entering renunciation, categorizing in 3 modes. So if you want to write down, you can just write it down. Okay, so we cannot think, okay, renunciation of the result, full stop. But you have to analyze, is it in the mode of goodness? Is it in the mode of passion? Is it mode on the ignorance? Because we don't want the renunciation is immature and bind us further. So this is why it's important to understand Bhagavad Gita as a whole, not pick and choose. We cannot cherry pick and choose and interpret it that way. Okay. Okay, renunciation, we are summarizing it. We are not going verse by verse. We are summarizing 0.7 to 0.9. Can somebody read this table for us?
Me.
Whose turn?
Oh.
Who belum?
Can
Divya. Yes, Mataji, can.
Goodness, performing prescribed duty because it is ought to be done, renouncing all material associations and all attachment to the fruit. Passion, giving up prescribed duties as troublesome or out of fear of bodily discomfort. Ignorance, giving up his prescribed duties due to illusion.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. So, renunciation in the mood of goodness. So, we have to understand that renunciation must be performed with this mentality. Okay, basically, no attachment to the result. He must be disassociated from the modes of work. Okay, so that means you don't relate so much to the condition around us, whether we are working in the factory. Look at this picture here, yeah? The factory, the workers. Okay, don't get so entangled with all that. Just do our duty. Okay, and when we do our duty, we think of Krishna, I'm doing this for you, I'm doing this for you, and then give some results to Krishna. In this way, we are actually acting transcendentally. It's even higher than goodness. Okay, as goodness is where you are attached from the result. But when you sacrifice the result to Krishna, when you're doing things thinking of Krishna, I'm doing this for you, I'm doing this for your pleasure, and sacrificing some results to Krishna. So that is transcendental already. That is beyond goodness. So this is how our work should be. Okay, try doing this. You will find bliss in what you do. Okay, you won't, work, why I have to go to work? It's not like that. Okay, so try to transcend that and see that the work that you're doing is for Krishna. Okay, so we can find peace in that. All right, next one. Passion, giving up prescribed duties as troublesome or out of fear of bodily discomfort. I don't want to do this work, it's so hard. Let me just try to pretend that I'm sick and I'm just going to take a rest. So this is giving up in the mode of passion. I don't want to do work. Or if I do work, I'll get reaction, so I'm not going to do my work. Okay, it's going to give me so much of pain, I'm not going to do this work. Okay, or you can also think, I want to dedicate my life to Krishna and I'm not going to do any work. I want to renounce everything. That is also cannot. Okay, that is also immature. Okay, all right, so duty has to be done, right? Okay, next, renunciation in the mode of ignorance. This is example like say a sannyasi. He understands that he cannot do anything for his own pleasure. So what he does is he stops cooking. No, I'm not going to eat because it means that I'm very materialistic and I'm very, so much into sense gratification. No, that's not practical. So what he should do is he can cook, he offer to Krishna, and then he can eat. Okay, that he can do. He cannot give up the cooking entirely. That is not practical. Another example is a sannyasi should stay away from marriage, isn't it? That's how sannyasi means. So like Prabhupada, when he went to the West, there was no pujaris because everybody was new, and there are devotee Prabhus and Mataji, they are supposed to get married to each other, and there were no pujaris. Prabhupada performed the marriage. By right, a sannyasi should not do that. Okay, oh, this marriage is very, it's just not so conducive for my sannyasi ashram. I'm not going to do that. Prabhupada did not do. For a higher cause, he did that. Later on, he trained pujaris to do that. So that will be immature renunciation. So the renunciation is engaged properly. Okay, so that can be done because this activity promotes one to spiritual activity. This is recommended. Okay, another example that Guru Maharaj gave is that a sannyasi calls himself sannyasi and then goes around not dressed. Oh, I'm renounced, I don't have to wear anything. So that is Guru Maharaj said monkey renunciation. Okay, so we should not do that too. So we try to see where we are and we try to elevate ourselves in that consciousness. So this chapter is very good for our daily life as well. Okay. Okay. Point 12. So what happens if one who doesn't renounce that way? Divyashini Mataji, can we hear you, please? Mataji, are you able to read?
Yes.
Okay, Mataji.
The one who is not renounced the threefold fruits of action, desirable, undesirable, and mixed, occur after death. But those who are in the renounced order of life have no such result to suffer or enjoy.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. Who can tell what is the point of this verse? The reason why I'm asking this question is I think you all can answer. You all can understand. It's just the words are put it differently. What can you all get from here? What point is this? What does it mean by person who is not renounced? A person who is doing work by the mind, with the mind attached to the results. So what is result? What is this relating to? You can just say it in one word.
Renunciation.
Yes, renunciation. This person who is not renounced. Okay, there is an example. Krishna is talking about a person who is not renounced. What is his destination? What's going to happen to him if you are not renounced? That means we are not giving up the results. We are working for the result. What happens to us? What do we get? What is this? Desirable, undesirable, and mixed, accrue after death.
Our fruitive reaction.
What is that?
Our karma reaction.
Yes, our karma. When we do not renounce the fruits of the actions, we are bound to reap the benefit or the suffering, the reactions. Accrue means it happens after. It continues. Accrue means continues. So even after death, it continues. You see, recently I had a good conversation with my Malay colleague. You know, Malays, Muslims, they don't believe in reincarnations. So naturally, when we talk about karma carried on from previous life to next life, it may not augur well with them because their philosophy does not talk about it. However, I just got to know that they have a term called kirafa. She was talking about reactions, and she mentioned this word kirafa. Then I said, is it like karma? Yes, you say. So that was the first time I got to know that they also have the concept of reaction. Chuma, that the reaction is they are bound to get it in this life. All right. So this, can you see, it is a universal truth that reactions are to be, reaped or enjoyed or suffered for the actions that we do. So nobody can run away from these reactions. Okay, is that our Vedic knowledge? Krishna is telling us that our karmic reactions will accrue after death, birth after birth. Okay, so if we do not renounce the fruit of our actions, we are bound to we are susceptible to these reactions. Okay, on the contrary, one who is renounced, he doesn't have such result to suffer or enjoy. Okay, we cannot say that enjoy, right, is good, isn't it? No, because if you want to come and enjoy, then you still have to go through the 4 major problems in life. What is that? 4 real problems of life.
Old age, birth, death.
Yes. All right. And then we have 3 miseries. Who knows what are the 3 miseries?
Body and mind. Body and mind, living entity.
Yes.
And disaster.
Correct. Natural disaster. Miseries that is brought upon us by our own mind and body. Adi Atmika. This one also we will learn level 3. Next is miseries brought upon us by other living entities. Adi Bautika. Miseries brought upon us by natural disasters are the Daivika. So we have 4 real problems and 3 miseries. So no matter you are what, Dato, Datin, CEO, whatever king, you have to go through these 4 real problems and 3 miseries. Which means whether it's a good karma or bad karma, we still have to accept it. We have to enjoy or suffer. Okay, so the solution that Bhagavad Gita is giving is let's zeroize it. We don't want positive, we don't want negative, we want 0. Okay, all right, so that is the point. All right, let's move on. Okay, so this is a little technical, but just be attentive. I'm sure you can follow. All right. So a question can raise. All right. Since any activity performed must have some reactions, how is it that person is in Krishna consciousness does not suffer or enjoy the reactions of work? Like I said, right? As a human, you have to do work. All right. When you do work, you get reactions. So how is it possible? The Krishna consciousness is about doing the activity but not getting the results. How does that work? So here Krishna is giving, when an activity is performed, when an action is performed, what are the factors involved? And we are just going to tweak that factor so that we do not get that reactions to the activity. So this one is a little technical, so please try to pay attention. Okay, so can we have somebody to read this verse? Who has not read yet? Can go another round. Kala Mataji.
Okay, Mataji. Almighty armed Arjuna, according to the Vedanta, there are 5 causes for the accomplishment of all action. Now learn of this from me. The place of action, the body, the performer, the various senses, the many different kinds of endeavors, and ultimately the super soul. These are the 5 factors of action.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. So when we perform an action, how many factors are involved?
5 factors.
5 factors. What are they?
They are the body, the doer, the performer, then our senses, and the super soul.
Endeavors.
Yes, the place of action, the body, because we have body, right? We are not subtle bodies, right? We are not ghosts or spirits. So we have gross body. So we need body to perform the action. And you have body but no consciousness, cannot perform. So we are the performer. Who is the performer? The soul, right? And then you need the senses to perform it. So you engage your senses. Different kinds of endeavor. Okay. And ultimately the super soul. Okay. Okay. So these are the 5 factors: body, performer, senses, endeavor, okay, with the work itself, super soul. You can have all these, but if it is not sanctioned by the super soul, we cannot complete that work. Okay, so that is why we cannot always take pride and saying that I did it, I did it, I did it, I did it, because the Lord has to sanction it. Okay, so let's see further, right? Action. Place of the body, place of the action, body, the senses, different kinds of endeavor, the performer, the super soul is the ultimate controller. What happens if we do not realize or accept this? Is not a very intelligent person. We cannot see things as they are. Okay, if we think that we are the doer, if we think that we are the only doer. So we must make sure, we must ensure that we understand that the Lord sanctions the act. Okay, we have small free will. Okay, we have free will. Our activities, it starts from our own free will. The mind tells, okay, Jay, do this. Okay, and then the body comes in. right? And then the senses come in, and then the work happens. But we often forget that the Lord has to sanction it. Okay. And having said that, by now we understand that our endeavor is not the independent cause of action. It's all related. Okay, so we have to understand that. Okay, this is to establish that we are not the doer of whatever things that we are doing. Okay, although it starts with our free will because we want to do this. Okay, it starts with our desire. Okay, so now Krishna goes on to explain something on knowledge. Okay, so can we have somebody to read? Who's next? Guna Mataji, are you able to? You have not been able to read today. Sharmila Mataji, you can go.
Okay. Knowledge, the object of knowledge, and the knower are the three factors that motivate action. The senses, the work, and the doer are the three constituents of action.
Okay, so thank you, Mataji. So these are the factors that push us to do work. Okay, so knowledge, object of knowledge, and the knower. This is the motivation. Okay, you have this knowledge to do something, and what is the goal of that knowledge? And the knower, it's us, right? So understanding this, we will perform certain activity. So when you perform that activity, all these three will come together. Senses, the work, and the doer. So any work done by any human being has these elements. Okay, so let's put that like this comparison. Now, who can remember? After knowledge, what is it? Three motivators of actions.
Happiness.
No.
Oh,
Remember earlier this one, right? 1, 2, 3,
Oh.
4, 5, 6. Okay, so what are the motivators of actions?
Knowledge
The object of knowledge.
Very
Knower.
good.
and you know,
Knower.
Very good. Three constituents of actions. How does actions carried out?
By senses, the doer,
Okay.
Work and work.
Yes, work and the doer. Very good. Remember that. So, okay, so understanding this, now we are going to move to the modes, right? All these 6 elements, they can come under the influence of 3 modes. Okay, but for this class, we will not cover all 6. We will cover knowledge, work, and the doer. Only these 3 we will cover. Okay, so that means the knowledge got goodness, passion, ignorance. Work got goodness, passion, ignorance. The doer got goodness, passion, ignorance. So we want to know where we are. It's very important. Okay, so these 3 we are doing. Can you remember this verse? What does it talk about? Can you see this? Einstein, some philosophers.
people follow what a great leader does, others follow. Is that the one?
No, not that. Yet Achariti, not that. This is chapter 14. Who remembers this? Effects of 3 modes upon the soul. This is people in the mode of goodness. What do?
worship the demigod.
No. that one, faith, Mataji. That's last week's chapter 17. This is 14. Remember, people in the mode of goodness, what kind of work they do. In the mode of passion, what kind of work they do. In the mode of ignorance, what kind of work they do. And in the mode of goodness, what are the binding conditions? One may be a great philosopher or lecturer or professor.
Brahmana means learned person. Brahmana.
Okay, learned person. Okay. How does that mode of goodness bind these people in the mode of goodness? These 2 things, right? Remember? How mode of goodness bind us? What do you feel in the mode of goodness? You feel 2 things. When you're good, right? When you're very good, you don't do crime activity.
Merciful.
Okay. When you're very learned, when you teach people, when you're very sattvic?
Feel blessed.
Yes.
What do
Lord,
you feel when you know better than others? What do you feel?
knowledgeable.
Okay.
Elevated.
Okay, what else? There's two binding elements. Remember the table that we did, there were two binding elements. Under the passion, what are the elements that's binding? You know, intense desire, ignorance is sleepy. What is goodness?
Mean pies.
Okay, I buka the verses. Let's see whether you can pick the answer or not.
They are purified.
What are the binding factors in the mode of goodness?
It's
Poorer than the other.
free from sinful.
Freeze from all sinful reaction.
That is characteristics. Binding factors.
Hmm.
How are they bound?
Conditioned.
Yes, conditioned. That's what I'm asking. How are they conditioned?
They are happy and happiness and knowledgeable.
Yes, the happiness and knowledge. Because they're happy. I'm fine. I'm fine here. I'll just stay near the
Yeah.
airport. I don't have to take the aeroplane. Remember that example that I always give? And then I have knowledge. I have knowledge better than that person. That is binding. That is the binding factor. Happiness and knowledge. People in the mode of goodness, they are complacent with all the blessings that they have, and they will not move forward. They find that this is good. So these are the two binding factors. It is not bad, but it binds them and make them stay where they are. That is why a successful scientist probably will be born again and again as a scientist. A great philosopher again and again will be born as a philosopher. Same goes to great musician. If you remember, I mentioned that the Ravi Shankar probably it was the 9th birth, Prabhupada said. Again and again he is born as musician. Until and unless we realize that there is another platform there, transcendental platform, then we're going to keep coming back again and again and again. Okay, so look here, this knowledge, Krishna is going to categorize them in 3 modes. Okay, so since time is running fast, let me just summarize this here. Knowledge in the mode of goodness is seeing all living entities as what?
As one. So yeah,
As
one.
as one. What is that? What we call that?
So
Yes, seeing all of them as soul. Okay, animal got soul, plants got soul, insects got soul, human got soul, beasts got soul. So all of them got soul. We cannot say that. Oh, only human got soul. Animals no soul, so we can slaughter them. They won't feel any pain. We can slaughter the plants. They won't feel any pain. Or their consciousness is lower, so we can slaughter them. So this is passion. Okay, thinking that in every different body there is a different type of living entity. This cannot justify our knowledge. We may have a lot of knowledge on so many things. Okay, so that is knowledge in the mode of passion. The knowledge in the mode of goodness is seeing everybody equal. Okay, if you remember the Bhagavad Gita verse, Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Kavina. What is that, Mataji? Yashoda Priya Mataji, do you remember?
Cannot.
Vidya Vinaya Sampanne. Somebody can quickly Google and share in the chat. It's about seeing everybody equally, whether it's a Brahmana or an elephant or a dog eater. Everybody is seen as a soul. Okay. Now, knowledge in the mode of ignorance is having attachment to a kind of work. All right. Work is worship. Work. That is knowledge in the mode of ignorance. That you don't want to know about the truth beyond that. So we don't want to do that. Okay. Okay, did everybody got it? The humble sage, by virtue of true knowledge, sees with equal vision a learned and gentle Brahmana, a cow, an elephant, a dog, and a dog eater. Dog eater means outcast. Vidya Vinaya Sampane, Brahmane Gavihastini, Suni Chaiva Swapakecha, Pandita Sama Darshina. Pandita means a learned person. Sama means same. Darshina means seeing. So a learned person sees everybody equally. No discrimination. Okay, that is knowledge in the mode of goodness. So we want to see, are we here? Are we here? Or are we here? If we are here, we should try to go up here. If we are here, we want to go up here. So it's always like that. From this, the place, this passion is very dangerous place. Anytime we can fall here. Okay, so we have to be very cautious. We want to go up. All right. So basically, it shows that this knowledge is showing that we are not the body. This is the important. Important knowledge that we are the spirit soul. Okay. All right. The confidential knowledge is that we are spirit soul. Okay. So what was the second element that they say we will cover after knowledge? Work, right? Work. So please prepare. Next question. What is the third one we're going to cover? Okay, work or karma. Okay, work in the mode of goodness should be regulated. Regulated, not suka-suka buat. Okay, regulated by what? Where you should fall back to. Can you perform a work in your office suka-suka? What do you go back to? Jayanti Mataji, are you able to share? You are in IT line. So what your work will be based on? What is your source of reference? Or anybody else who is working? Like myself? Yeah, product code, is it? Yeah, like myself, we have policies, we have guidelines, we have SOPs and things like that. So whatever we do, we have to fall back to that. So that is how we perform work in the material life. So in spiritual life, how do we perform work in the mode of goodness? It should be regulated by
Scripture.
yes, Sastra, scriptures. We have to follow the orders and the divisions of the society like that. Okay, and we have to perform without attachment, without love or hatred. So sometimes we say this job is like love-hate relationship. So you cannot love too much or you cannot hate too much, and because that's going to put us in distress. So we have to perform it undisturbed. Okay. Right. Next is, without desire for fruity results. So that doesn't mean that you don't give your best. All right. You give your best, and Krishna will give you what is allocated for you. In Isopanisha, it is mentioned that we will get what is allocated for us. Okay. We cannot have intense desire, over desire to have something that is not allocated to us, because it will not stay with us. All right, so that is important. Do our best. Okay, and Krishna will do the rest. Passion means doing work in the mode of passion is perform with great effort by one seeking to gratify his desire. Work. I want to get promotion. I want to get this. I want to get that. Okay. All right, that is work in the mode of passion. Enacted from a sense of false ego. So this is also not a healthy way of doing work. Okay, false ego means I am the doer. It's done because of me. I made it happen. Okay, so that is mode of passion. Working in the mode of ignorance, of course, anything that is bad, performed in the mode of illusion, in disregard of scriptural injunction, bluntly disobeying the sastras, without concern for future bondage. You don't care about the reaction that you're going to get in the future. You're just going to perform whatever you need to do now. Some people, have you seen some people? It's okay. Life is meant to enjoy. Life is short. We're going to live only once. And even if they have knowledge, these people, even when you give them knowledge about there is karmic reactions, there's something called karmic reaction in the future. Sometimes you get it in this life. Sometimes you get it in the next life. Oh, next life, never mind. I won't know what's going to happen in my next life. It's okay. I'm just going to live today's life. Right? This is illusion. Doing work in the mode of illusion. So understand, right? So there are people thinking that way. There is such mentality as well. They know, but they don't want to realize it. Knowing is something, realizing is something else. Okay. without concern for violence or distress caused to others. So they just don't care about what others feel. They don't have empathy. They don't care what the actions will cause upon others. None of my business. This is how they think. So this is doing work in the mode of ignorance. Okay, this is my work. I'm going to do my work. I don't care what happens to others. So that kind of lack of empathy, doing work in the mode of ignorance. Okay. So next, what is the next thing that I say we will cover? Knowledge, work, doer. Very good. Thank you for saving us. Okay, so we have a worker in the mode of goodness. Can somebody read for us?
Can I read, Mataji?
Okay.
Okay. Mode of goodness performs his duty without association with the modes of material nature and without false ego, with great determination and enthusiasm, without wavering in success or failure.
Okay,
Mode
just
of passion.
pause there, Mataji. Wait for a while. I explain and then you go to the passion. Okay. So this one is pretty straightforward, right? Without association with the modes of material nature, that means you are not influenced by the factors around you. All right, and then you perform your work with great determination, enthusiasm. So remember, there's one part we say that we don't want to work by expecting some results. So there were questions. So does that mean I cannot work towards promotion or increment? It's not like that. We have to work with great determination and enthusiasm. However, without the desire to enjoy those fruits. Okay, what is allocated to us will come to us. Always trust that. All right, without wavering in success or failure. Work hard, didn't get promoted, never mind, try again. Okay, so we have to do this. You will be rewarded. Okay, so it could be because our karmic reactions that the success is just not on our lap yet. But if you get a failure, then don't let it stop you. Go on and on and on. Okay, so that is the work in the mode of goodness. Okay, carry on, Mataji. Passion.
Okay, Mataji. Mode of passion attached to work and fruits of work, desiring to enjoy those fruits, who is greedy, always envious, impure, and moved by joy and sorrow.
Okay, so this one too much attached to a certain kind of work, because too much attached for materialism. I want to get this, I want to get this. This anything that's passion. So that's, we don't want to be that. Okay. Remember what is the binding condition of passion? We always go back to that. What is the binding condition in the mode of passion? Intense?
Mode of ignorance, Mataji.
No, for passion. We are still in passion. What is the binding condition in passion? Why we should not be in the mode of passion? What
Desire.
causes?
Desire,
Yes, intense desire. You want more and more and more. What does it give? And then next we know we have to relate to the result. What is the result in the mode of passion? What does it give us?
Entanglement and bondage.
Entanglement, bondage, one more word.
Misery.
Yes, misery or distress. Okay, disappointments. So that comes under mode of passion. Okay, carry on, Mataji. Ignorance.
Okay, mode of ignorance works against the injunctions of scriptures, materialistics, obstinate, cheating, and expert in insulting others, lazy, always morose, and procrastinating.
Procrastinating, yes. Always putting it aside. I'll do tomorrow, do tomorrow, do tomorrow, do tomorrow. So as a boss, you wouldn't want a staff like this. So we also don't want to be like this. Thank you, Mataji. Okay, so number one, disobeying the scriptures. Okay, so all these, materialistic, cheating, insulting. Have you seen people? They think they are very good worker by insulting others, putting down others. So that's not good. So from here, we can see how it is categorized. It's in the worker is in the mode of ignorance. All right, lazy, always morose, always asking sympathy. All right, so we don't want to do this also. We want to be always illuminating, vibrant, okay, undisturbed. So we don't want to do this. So here people are in the mode of passion because they give priority for their material success instead of spiritual life. All right. Okay. So when we enjoy, we get two things. What is it? When we try to enjoy, we get two things. The good and bad. What do you get? What is the good thing when you enjoy? Why you want to enjoy? Why do we enjoy?
Happiness.
Yes,
Happiness.
we want happiness. What is the bad side of trying to enjoy?
Distress.
Yeah, distress. Very good. So now you know already, right? Enjoyments does not necessarily result in happiness all the time. So here Krishna is going to describe happiness in three modes.
She just on only, Lama.
Mataji. All right. So happiness. Oh, happiness also got three modes, huh, Mataji? Yeah, you want to make sure that your happiness do not harm others. Okay. So happiness is, which in the beginning may be just like poison, but at the end is just like nectar, is in the mode of goodness. In the beginning, waking up early in the morning to go to school is so hard, but you have to finish your studies to get a good job, right? So you have to wake up early in the morning. So like that, if you apply that in spiritual life, you have to wake up early, do your prayers, you have to shower, you have to brush teeth, you have to cook for the family. It may be like so difficult, but the result is blissful, sublime. Okay. So if you keep following the regulative principles of bhakti, like waking up in the morning, performing arati, taking some flowers and offering to Krishna, offering some milk and fruits every day. If your situation in the house, you know, is not really conducive to become fully vegetarian, so at least you can do that. All right. So this is happiness in the mood of goodness. Initially, it may sound very difficult. Okay, and this requires practice, sadhana, and control of mind and senses. Then the happiness will come after some time. So usually people are very impatient. They cannot wait for the happiness to come after some time. So they go to passion because the happiness comes pretty fast. Okay, the moment they have contact with the sense objects, the moment they enjoy, they get happiness. This is what generally people will want. But it will appear as nectar at first, but later it will become poison. What example can we give for this? Intoxication, right? Getting intoxicated, it makes you forget about the problems, but the next day you will have problems, hangover, or you may have lungs problem if you extensively smoke. Okay, too much of meat, it's a very toxic to the body and is very deadly, so later it'll become poisonous. All right. Happiness in the mode of ignorance. How can we be happy in the mode of ignorance? Which means we just don't care about anything. From the beginning until the end, it's all about sleeping, having happiness after sleeping, having happiness after being lazy. Okay. Being in the mode of intoxicated, like drug addicts, right? They can never wake up forever. So they always think they are happy. So that is happiness in the mode of ignorance. It is not real. They're simply not worried of anything. So the happiness in the mode of goodness comes after some time, and that is why people are impatient, but it will pay off eventually. Happiness in the mode of passion and ignorance, the happiness comes immediately. However, this kind of happiness will always lead into high chance of repeated birth and death because of increasing number of desires, too high desires. So this will lead to repeated birth and death. Okay. So sometimes when people have a long sleep, then they think they are happy. Actually, it's not. What happens after? They feel so lethargic and things like that. So that is poison at the end. All right. Okay, there may be some rules or regulations to follow, but always remember, whatever nectar in the beginning may not be nectar forever. Okay, no pain, no gain, like that. All right. So we actually came to the end of the chapter 18, part 1 already. This is a nice story of Jagannath story. So I hope I have time to narrate it. Do you all remember? Do you know this story? Have I narrated this before? No, right? Yashoda Priya Mataji, do you know this story? Jagannath goes for war. Jagannath going for war.
Jagannath. No,
No,
forgot already.
okay. Sharmila Mataji, have you heard this story?
I think I have, but
So it's always nice to hear again. Right?
yes, definitely.
Okay, so there's this king. This is Jagannath Puri. Okay, all right. Let's look at the left side. This is king of Kanjipuram. So that's one king. And this king is from Orissa, the land of Jagannath Puri. So there is a tradition in Jagannath Puri that every time before Radha Yatra, the king will come and sweep the road first for the chariot to go. It's a tradition, which means no matter how high status you are, in front of Jagannath, you are a servant. So there everybody loves Jagannath, okay? Even the fishermen also, they can go to temple those days. Okay, and Jagannath is taken care of by them with so much of love. You know, there's no such thing as only Brahmanas and Pujaris can go and worship Jagannath. It's not like that. Jagannath gives special benediction for people in Jagannath Puri. So one day, I think there was a proposal from this king to King Kanji's princess. He wants to marry the princess. So this king will send a spy to this state, this Jagannath Puri, to spy on this king. So happened that was a Radha Yatra day. And the spy saw the king was sweeping. And he thought, oh, he's not a king, he's just a sweeper. So the news brought back to the king of Kanchi, and the king of Kanchi pulled back the proposal. So later on, I think, and then the king was pretty much upset, I think, and he wanted to launch war against against Kanchi. So king of Kanchi is a devotee of Lord Ganesh. King Prataparudra of Jagannath Puri is the devotee of Jagannath. So they had a deal. Okay, the king Kanji said, if I lose, I will send my Ganesha to you. But if you lose, then you have to send your Jagannath to me. Okay, so Prataparudra was very upset. He went to Jagannath and he said, Jagannath, it's okay, I lose, you know, it's okay, I die, but I don't want you to go. Right? Then it will be a very bad reputation for you. What people will think about you? Can you please come and fight? Like that, King Prataparudra will ask Lord Jagannath. Then the Lord Jagannath said, oh, okay, I don't want to move from here. Okay, I will come and fight. I just don't want to go from here. So like that, Jagannath assured that he will go for the war. Okay. So so there was a day that the day came for the King Prataparudra to go and launch war against the King Kanchi. So when he was passing by, a yogurt lady stopped this King Prataparudra. Stop. You know, 2 of your soldiers went and they drank so much of my yogurt drink, and they said they had no money. They asked me to ask the king that's coming behind them. So I'm here to collect my debts. Please pay money for the yogurt that your soldiers taken. Then King Prataparudra said, my soldiers, all my soldiers are coming behind me. How could it be possible? Soldiers going in front of me. We are just starting the journey. It's not possible. Then so that lady, the seller of the yogurt drink, because it was such a hot day, so the so-called the soldiers stopped by to get drink from her, and they didn't pay. And then the lady said, they told me that you will say like this, that they are not your soldiers and you're all just starting the journey. It's not possible and all this. Look at this. I got an evidence. That black guy actually gave me a ring. He asked me to show this ring to you. So the King Prataparudra took the ring and immediately recognized that it's Jagannath's ring. Then he knew that before him, Jagannath already went in front with Balaram. So sweet. Look at this narration here. She said, "Sir, there were two of them. The first general was very fair," that's Lord Balaram, "and strong, and rode a black horse. The second one was a dark complexion and was riding a big white horse. They were dressed in fine clothes, and even their horses were decorated. Please, sir, they asked me to take my payment from you." Okay, so when this happened and King Prataparudra realized that the two soldiers that went ahead was Jagannath and Balaram themselves, he was so happy and thought that this yogurt lady is so fortunate. So what he did, he did not only give the payment for the yogurt drink, he actually gave one whole village to her, and the village name is called Manika Patna because her name is Manika, right? So that village is called Manika Patna. Patna means town, so it's like Manika's town. They gave the name. Okay, so the war happened. And of course, Prataparudra won because the Lord is on his side. And the King Kanchi had to give his Lord Ganesh. So the Lord Ganesha's deity is in Jagannath temple compound. It's still there until now. And of course, he had to give the princess as well. So the princess also followed King Prataparudra back to Jagannath Puri, and she said that she has to marry him because the father has lost to him. So King Prataparudra said, "No, I will not marry you. I will only marry you will be only married to a sweeper." He said like that, "because you rejected me thinking that I'm a sweeper. So your fate is you will be married to a sweeper." So they waited. Radha Yatra came again, and the Lord took the king took the role of a sweeper, and on that day he married the princess. Somehow she actually married the sweeper, isn't it? All right, so that was the proper timing. Okay, he assumed the role of the sweeper. Finally, the princess married. He married her. Okay. So their marriage happened on Radha Yatra day. So this is a nice story to end the class today. Any questions? Is it a nice story? Pretty sweet, right?
Yes, a nice story. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Never heard before.
Yeah, where was it, Mataji? Level
you
1 did that? Did we do that in level 1?
Our
No.
level 1 tak ada.
Sorry, Mataji.
Our level 1 tak ada.
Okay, so that means the story was from elsewhere. Okay. So any questions? 901. No questions? Okay.